Hi, John Spark here, and welcome to the Best European River Cruising APT presentation. Today I'm going to be talking with Joe Ellis, the State Manager of APT, who has been on this exact cruise that we're talking about. The cruise we're talking about today is the Amsterdam to Budapest, or Budapest to Amsterdam, the Magnificent Europe it's called. Why I decided to feature this is because a lot of our clients, or most people in Australia, usually will go on this cruise as a first up river cruise. And what we wanted to demonstrate for you is what we would have normally been able to find if you had to come into one of our presentations in the office. And we used to run these quite regularly, and a lot of people would come in. We looked at it and said, let's make it more easier for people like yourself to view without having to come to our office. So we're pretty much replicating the same sort of presentation that we did there. Now, at the end of this presentation, we've got a special deal where you're going to save quite significant money on airfares. So if you stick around to the very end, you're going to be very happy if a river cruise is on your plate. And if it's not on your plate, that's fine. Hopefully you'll get a good idea of what river cruising is about, and if it does become something that you want to do, you've had the benefit of coming to a presentation. And of course, at the end of this, you can leave your questions or comments at the bottom, and we will promise to respond to those within 25 minutes. So I'm going to cut it over to Joe now. Thanks for joining us, and do enjoy.
Great, thanks so much, John. Yeah, the Magnificent Europe has been so popular for us. I think it's a great duration for Australian passengers because it's that 15-day. And of course, there's those optional add-ons as well, having an extra 3 nights in Paris or an extra 3 nights in Prague, which are both amazing cities. So it's can be an 18 or a 21 day, and we just find that it's such a long way to go from Australia to actually get to Europe. You want to make the best of it and have a really, really nice, relaxing cruise. We do have some 7-night option cruises available as well, but we find that after a few nights you start to settle in, relax, and really enjoy the pace of cruising. For 2014, we've got a new thing which we're actually calling the Royal Experience. And what that actually means is that basically it's a combination of all these different things as far as fantastic food. And probably one thing that a lot of people don't think about with small ship river cruising is the fact that you could have, 6 different or 7 different dining experiences. So you may only have, 50 people dining with you at a time. So it's really lovely experience. It's very much made fresh to order. We also dock every day, so all the produce is fresh as well. So fantastic food. You've got to forget the diets on river cruising because the food is fantastic. We've also got beautiful river ships as well, and a lot of choice of cabins, which has been really, really popular for our market. It depends on how much time you spend in your cabin, but I'll go through all the different grades that you can choose from. It's lovely to have a beautiful ship, but at the same time, people are going there to see Europe, so we make sure all the sightseeing's included. It's tailor-made as far as the passenger as well, so we'll go through that in a little bit more detail as well. And the service, everyone talks about, when I actually see them, because we have branded cars, so we see people in car parks and shopping centres, and they always talk about the people that they meet and the staff, and how amazing they were, and they took any concerns that they had actually with travelling away. So it made a massive, massive difference. So they certainly make the difference in your holiday. That gives you a breakdown, and thank goodness you got these beautiful rivers to see through Europe. So when you're actually doing the Magnificent Europe, you're doing the Amsterdam all the way to Budapest, or the reverse itinerary, and it's been so popular. It's only been since, goodness me, the actual Main-Danube Canal was completed in 1992 and took around 300 years altogether to construct it properly. So it's about 172 kilometres long, and you've got 123 bridges you go under in this journey and 16 different locks. So it's a really great experience. Of course, if passengers have already done that trip and so absolutely love to want to do something a little bit different, then we've also got the Seine River also in the north of France, and also the Rhone as well in the south of France. Of course, going over to Russia, then we certainly have St. Petersburg to Moscow to cruise between, or if you want that beautiful Mediterranean river, you've got the Douro River also in Portugal on the left-hand side. So lots and lots of choice, which is great because we've got such a popular product here and people want to do it again and again. We've also got with river cruising, I think the main thing to remember is it's fully inclusive, and our passengers love that because they probably had that trip before when they come back and they said, my credit card is now, $3,000 in the red because I didn't expect to pay additional for all these different bits and pieces. Whereas with APT, pretty much everything is included, and at the end of the presentation we'll go through what's actually not included, and it's only a tiny few things. So you end up being able to budget, come back and say, I had a great cruise, enjoyed it, and it didn't cost me anything additional. And it's
I
relaxing.
want to add in there,
Yeah.
sorry Joe to cut across you, I want to add in there that we've had clients come back and have literally said you could get away with spending as little as $50 on top of the whole cruise if you wanted to. It's really very easy. Everything is included in every sense of the word, and pretty much the only thing that you'll buy will be your souvenirs and stuff off of the ship. So yeah, it's not very often that these claims are actually backed up by clients coming back and telling us that, you know, when you budget for these, then just literally it's covered. So yeah, it's great.
And I think it's a bit addictive because everyone says, I want to travel with APT again. So that's why we have to come up with all these different destinations all the time, John. So we actually can offer something different, because I love the way that you guys organise all of that and make it really simple and relaxing, as well, as I was mentioning before. So really relaxing. It's not an endurance test. So you don't have that situations of getting up early, having breakfast, bags out at this time, all that sort of stuff. It's very much, if you want to sleep in, go for it. You even have late risers breakfast for you, as well as early risers breakfast. So it pretty much caters for everybody. And of course, no traffic jams. So you're unpacking once and you're not sitting on motorways trying to get through Europe with all these different traffic and things like that. So it's a really beautiful way to go. That's how all the people are actually involved in making this very much a fantastic cruise for you as well. So you have the history team, and I found that especially cruising through, doing the Amsterdam to Budapest, as well as the Russian cruise, was amazing as far as their history and actually hearing it from their point of view as well. So that was really amazing stuff, as well as the local guides that you meet every day. So there is no day of cruising without actually having a tour. There's always something to do every day. So you certainly have those included. And of course the captain and crew that you get to know pretty well, and actually the waiters are fantastic, and you end up trying to follow the waiter, I guess, that becomes your favourite. They know exactly what your diet requirements are and all those sort of things, and if you like a gin and tonic or whatever for dinner, and they become very much part of a bit of a family. So it's a really nice feeling on board the ship. And I think what makes it most popular, John, is the fact that it is about choice. It's not about having to be on a coach and continuing seeing the same thing with the same people and that sort of stuff. It's very much about, you do what you want on the ship. It's very much your floating hotel. You decide when you get up, what sort of things you want to get involved in during the day. If you want to do touring, if you don't want to, either way, it's all included. And of course, the fantastic meals throughout the day as well. So they're all included. So up to you exactly what you'd like to do.
So what are the age groups or brackets on the cruises? Because I know they're getting much younger, but I also know that you can get quite elderly as well. So have you got a bit of an indication of the mix now?
It's pretty much, I find that from doing the cruises and in our information sessions, probably around the 55 to 75 sort of age group, I guess. So it's that sort of age group, I guess, has the time to actually get away for a 2 or 3 week period. We find that the families, because the ships aren't actually equipped with, kids clubs and things like that, we won't get the young families so much. It's more probably the people who are about to retire or have retired and want to just relax and enjoy a cruise. So it's pretty much that 55 to 75 sort of age group. What I like about it as well, John, is the fact that, because you've got such a different age group actually travelling together, we actually had a triathlete on, last year, and he was loving it because he could grab one of the complimentary bikes and do his touring around the towns and things like that. Whereas we also have all of the walking groups as well. So we had a fast-paced walking group, which does things comprehensively and really quickly. Then we had the gentle walk, as we call it. So if you injured your knee like I did last year, then you could actually go to the gentle walkers and just do things slowly and actually not hold anybody up and just do the highlights. And of course, we've got 2 medium groups as well. So even though you've got different age groups on there, it's sort of, I guess, the touring caters for different fitness levels as well. So at least you won't be held up, or you won't feel like you're holding other people up as well. And on to the lovely man with the champagne there, welcoming our guests on board. That is actually when you go into the twin balcony suites. And he's actually, we actually have a butler service, which is great to actually have that available on the ships. Some guests, even though they, of course, can have it. They say, I really don't want a butler. It's not what I want. And of course, it's only if you request it. So you don't have to have the butler, but it's certainly there for the twin balcony suites and the owner's suite. So if you want to get your shoes shined and a few shirts ironed and maybe some drinks, then that's actually a welcome drink when you get onto the cruise. We've also got for everybody in the cabins a royal experience. So basically, if you're on one of our cruises, you'll certainly get all of this included. So the signature experiences, and I'll show you through some of those, but it really is one of those special moments on your cruise that you go back and you say, I imagine doing, maybe going to the Moulin Rouge in Paris and those sort of things. So we'll go into more detail of those in a moment. We've also got the freedom of choice inclusions, which I really like because all the must-see things are included. But when you've got freedom of choice touring, it's more, I guess, what you're interested in. So if you go into maybe Vienna, you can go into the Spanish riding school if you love your horses. If you want to see Schönbrunn Palace, which is quite amazing as well, and see where Mozart did his first performance. I think he was about 7 years old, so obviously incredibly talented. Then you can actually go to Schönbrunn Palace as one of your freedom of choice inclusions. There's so much to look at and see that you choose, and that's included for you. Of course, drinks are always part of your bill when you actually check off the cruise. And with APT, we actually include your beverages while cruising. So you have your local beers, your local wines, and they're lovely wines in the Rhine region as well. And the beers are fantastic. And of course, you have spirits as well. So if you want to have a vodka and orange, that's included in your actual cruise price. So it really does cut back on a lot of spending. Your soft drinks are included as well, and of course your juices, as well as bottled water in your cabin. So you're not paying additional for those sort of things. And they do add up over a couple of weeks as well. And of course, thank goodness, we've got our transfers on the first and last day, and we just find our passengers like to make it really, really easy. They don't want to have stress from when they leave Perth. They basically get on the plane. As soon as they get into Europe, you have one of the APT representatives pick you up from the airport, organise everything, take your luggage, and they'll actually deposit you straight at either at the hotel, if you're doing maybe Paris or Prague add-on, and make sure your luggage gets sorted out. And otherwise, if you're going to the ship, of course, straight to the ship. I also should mention for the land stays, all of your concierge tipping is also included for APT. So you don't have to worry about when they bring your bags up to your room. That's sorted out by your tour director as well. If you want to,
that's a big thing for Australians.
I think so, because we hate tipping. I don't think we mind the money. It's more the awkwardness when it's not part of our culture. So we just say, okay, we'll make sure that's all included. So we're actually doing the cruise with APT. We tip your cruise director, all of your staff, and also your local guides as well. So that's handled for you by APT. So you don't have to worry about that. We just say, thank you very much for the information you've given us, and they're happy because the tour director's already tipped them. So you don't have to feel awkward at all. If you want to extend as well into, maybe if you want to go a couple of days beforehand or extend your trip at the end, if you book your accommodation through us as well, we also include the transfers. So makes it really easy. So if you may be going after the ship, maybe if you say, I'm just doing the Amsterdam to Budapest, and you want to do a couple of nights in Budapest just to have a look at that fantastic city, you can actually, with APT, have the transfers from the ship to your hotel and your hotel to the airport included. So just make sure when you speak to John and the guys and the team, just say, please book all of those accommodations through APT and we can sort it for you easily. Tipping, as you mentioned.
That's a big thing.
I think
that's a big thing, Joe, because a lot of clients, it's pretty confusing when you arrive into Heathrow and the various airports that you can arrive into, and then working out what do I do, where do I go, and knowing that the APT people are there to hold your hand. It allows you to do what a holiday is all about, in my opinion, and that's relax. Exactly. All the way through. Relax. You don't have to worry about your budgets, you don't have to worry about tipping, you don't have to worry about getting from anywhere to anywhere. You just got to get off the plane, and that's about the sum total of your participation.
It's so simple, and I think after about 15 to 21 days, depending on which itinerary you choose, you become so relaxed, and all of a sudden you finished your cruise, and you're like, oh my God, I have to go home now because my brain's not working anymore. I'm so relaxed. Everyone's been looking after me so well, and everything's so well organised. It's sort of like a shock to the system sometimes. So I always say to people, if they're going to see their relatives and friends on the part of their actual holiday, maybe do that at the start and then relax completely on the cruise before you go home, because it's just a really nice way to sort of return to Australia nice and relaxed. And we got, you probably hopefully got some brochures or the e-brochures off our internet, but with our APT we've actually got two different choices of ships. We have the Aria class, which were launched in 2006 and 2009, and they're well known for just mainly their panoramic balcony style, or they could also be called French balconies. Three different restaurants on board as well, and a heated whirlpool on the top deck, and really nice size, about 148 guests on board. So really, really nice. You get to know all the, you know, the main people and enjoy their company. We then got some feedback from passengers that have maybe done a, you know, Holland America cruise or a Princess cruise, said, I like to have a balcony, an actual step-out balcony. So what we've actually got is the concerto ships, which were a little bit newer. And with these ones, we've actually got a more choice of suites and more choice of restaurants. They've actually seven different dining experiences on board, which is great if you've got, you know, your 15 days, and so you're never really going to get bored. And 5 specialty restaurants on board these ships, so really, really great choice, beautifully done. A little bit longer, so a little bit longer as far as the ships are concerned, but a little bit more to choose from. So these have been really popular, as well as the pool on the top deck, especially if you go to Europe in summer. You can think you're cruising along the Rhine or the Rhone, and you're swimming in the pool, and yeah, looking at the castles in the background. So a really nice experience. This just gives you an idea of some of the general regions around the ship. So even if you're doing off one of the leading cabins, which is still a good size, you've still got some fantastic areas throughout the ship where you can actually get perfect views. We actually sit on the sun deck, and it's 360-degree views. You've got the fireside library as well. And there's all the books about Europe and where you're cruising through. They've got a fitness centre. One day I'll find someone in there, John. I've never seen anybody in there. But one day...
I'm told no one's ever been in there except the cleaners.
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty much it. Everyone else is out there maybe enjoying Europe instead, I suppose, rather than being in a gym, but it's there for sure. You've also got the elevator as well to make it easy to go through the different levels of the ship, and heaps of lounges. And the lounges have got those great pod coffee machines, so you can decide exactly how you like your coffee done. And they've always got snacks as well. So they've always got something to eat no matter when you wander into the lounges. The cruise directors are amazing on board as well, and they really make sure that everything goes according to plan as far as the actual itinerary. So I don't think they ever sleep. They're always actually talking with the guests, and also having meals with the guests as well, which is great. So if you have any questions, you can certainly go up to the cruise director and they'll be able to help you and give you some advice. We've had people that maybe run out of their medications and they need to go into a chemist, and the cruise director always goes with them to make sure there's no issue with language and, you know, conversions, things like that, as well as we had one guest that actually dropped their wallet in a they were doing an actual seaplane. They actually dropped their wallet into the harbour, and which is an absolute disaster when you're overseas. But the cruise director got a one of the scuba divers to go down and get the wallet, thank goodness. So it actually, and the credit card still works. Yeah, so these things all make such a difference, but they're great people and really do everything they can. There we are. That's where you actually check in for your cruise. So you've, on the left-hand side is your reception area. It's 24 hours a day. It's manned. So anything that comes up any time of the day or night, you can certainly go to the reception area and they'll be able to give you a hand. As you can see, the lift through there as well. It takes you through the different levels of the ship. And that is your lounge area. So a lot of the briefings happen here. Also the lectures as far as history and the culture that you're cruising through, as well as in the evening, I'll actually have a musician there as well. So just before dinner, they'll have a musician in here with some nice music. And usually after dinner, they'll have the local entertainers from the villages come through and do some folk dancing, singing. Sometimes they have a trio of musicians. So all that sort of thing from the general town that you're cruising through. So it gives that flavour of the village, which is fantastic. And there's 3 of them there that actually come in from the town. Butler services are
Different people on different nights, do they, Joe?
Yeah, every performance is different. So you have the main musician that's on the ship all the way through, who'll do usually mainly pre-dinner music, but the ones that actually come in after dinner are from the local town. So they pretty much come in for one night and off they go back to their town, and then we cruise on to the next town and get some different entertainers. So there's always something on in the evening. And there's our bikes, which are great. I really enjoy it. We have some passengers come along and say, I haven't been on a bicycle for, 15 years or so, and they have a great time. They end up going the separate cycle paths around a lot of the little European towns are fantastic. So you can certainly do those. Otherwise, you've also got an area from Melk to Dernston, which is around over 20 kilometres actually, but you have the whole day to actually do the cycle between the two towns, and it's really relaxing,
Right.
beautiful areas that you go through, and some tiny little villages that you really feel like you're very much in the heart of Europe. And they also can't speak English quite often, so it's entertaining going and getting a coffee through these villages. And of course you've got a guide behind, because there's about 15 wineries between the two towns. So I want to make sure no one sort of stops there for a few hours and misses a ship in the next town. So that's between Melk and Dernsteen. This is the only place where you actually spend some money, John. So if you actually want to get a massage done, or maybe get your hair done for a special occasion, you can certainly come into the beauty salon and book in a treatment or something like that for yourself. So that's the only thing that's not included in the actual cruise price, one of the main things anyway. And these are our suites. This is probably the main question we get asked, as far as what is the difference between the suites. These ones are 170 square feet in size, so really, really comfortable. We've got a pillow menu as well, so if you're fussy with your pillow, you can certainly get the pillow that suits you for your 2-week cruise. Dream bed mattresses, so really, really comfy. You've got a safe in your room, which I really like, so you can walk in first day, put any valuables, lock those away, so you don't have to worry about that for 2 weeks. You've also got free internet access, which is another thing that a lot of people don't think about when they go overseas and they want to check in and update their friends about their progress. With APT, it's free internet, so makes a big difference. So you can log in, Hotmail, and send your pictures back and share your, so I guess, all your journeys and things with your friends at home. We've also got an Australian plug in front of that little chair there on the left-hand side. You've actually got an Australian plug there. So if you get your European adapter, you can actually use that one there, and that's quite easy. You've also got heaps of covered space on the left-hand side, which you can't really see from this photo, and a private ensuite as well. And in the ensuite, we've actually got a full-size shower. We don't have any shower over baths, which are not too popular with our passengers, and really nicely, marble tabletops and things like that. So really nicely done. As far as the level of this one, this would be on the lower deck, on the piano deck. So this is probably for people that say, I really don't need a view because I'm never in my cabin. It doesn't matter to me. So I just need the main amenities, and that's it. These are exactly the same size. Even though they look massive, they actually look quite a bit larger. It's mainly because you've got that full panoramic balcony style there, which is really, really popular. You find most people that do river cruising like this style, because they can sit there and just before going maybe for dinner, open those windows and really enjoy the view of Europe as you're cruising along. And I thought I'd throw this shot in there as well for you, John. It's mainly to show you why we are limited as far as width, sadly. So we've only got about ½ a metre on each side of the ship to actually make it through the locks. And there's over 40 locks between Amsterdam to Budapest. So we certainly have to get through all of these. That's why we just want to make sure that the internal space is, you can make the most of it. And as you can see, the previous shot there with the panoramic balcony, even if you're going in March or October, November, December, when it could be a bit more rainy, you can just close those doors. You've still got your internal space. If you had a step-up balcony, there'd be a lot of space there you couldn't use on those blunts. So that's why I've done that sort of style.
Yeah, what I like about the windows side of things is I was on an Alaskan cruise. I've done a couple, and on one of them was actually a particularly wet cruise, and we had the balcony, and we literally did just sit inside and look at the scenery with it raining outside, and it was really great. We didn't have to go up on deck. We didn't have to go out amongst everybody. We could read a book, and even people would come back. There's a bit of a myth out there. People say, oh, you only sleep in your cabin, but you don't. I mean, late in the afternoon, it's nice to just get up, and if you're not out and about, to sit around and just take it easy and not have to get formally dressed or prepared. You can sit in your dressing gown if you want to, and even in the mornings, it's always nice to open the window in the morning and see where you are and what the scenery might be. So I say to people, the balconies are, if you can bring it into your budget, it's not even you'll never regret it. No one's ever
Absolutely.
come back and say, I wish I didn't have a balcony.
Yeah, so true, absolutely. And going up from that level, you can even go larger if you want, John. So you've actually got the, this is just on the concerto style ships. So this is your twin balcony style. So as you can see on the right hand side, you've still got those sliding doors, but on the left hand side, you've actually got a step out balcony, which is covered. But and so I guess you've got the best of both worlds. So if you're cruising in, you know, in summer, it'd be beautiful, would be on the left hand side. Otherwise, it's a bit cooler. You can go onto the right-hand side there and have more of that conservatory style feel, but still have that fantastic view.
So Joe,
Yes,
just a quick question.
yeah.
Is there a better side of the ship to be on, depending on which way you are going?
There's
Or
not,
that
probably
just doesn't matter?
it doesn't matter, to be honest. A lot of people have asked, and I've sort of done both sides of the ship, and I didn't really find a difference because the towns can be on either side of your ship as you're cruising alongside. Say, really, probably the best view you get is on the sun deck because either side you're always going to miss out on something. But there was definitely not a better side on the starboard or the port as far as river cruising. So at least you don't have to worry. It's not like doing maybe Alaska when there's one side where you actually can see the towns and the other side where you pretty much wouldn't. So in river cruising, it doesn't really, it's not a big factor for sure. I should,
Cool, thank you.
that's all right, no dramas. And also with the actual previous shot, I should mention the size as well. These ones range from 210 square feet up to 235 square feet to give you an idea. So a little bit larger than our lead-ins at 170 square feet. This is your owner's suite, and they have this, the pictured one here is the owner's suite plus. That's 350 square feet in size, so really, really large for a river cruise ship. But certainly if you have friends coming over or maybe some pre-dinner drinks, they'll definitely be using your cabin for those. So really great size, great balconies you can see, and really beautifully fitted out as well. And also the bathrooms are beautiful with twin vanities. I don't know, there we are. There's a shot of the bathroom as well. Separate shower and separate bath as well. Yeah.
I noticed that the people in the pictures are probably models or the likes as they usually are, but I'm noting the dress standard. We often get asked the question about what is the dress standard that people need to consider. We always say just smart, casual, and you'll fit in very well for every aspect of it. Would you agree with that, or do you have some other input?
Definitely. I think it's very much like, because especially it's mainly for Australians as well, I think we're a pretty casual bunch as well, especially being a small group. So exactly what you see the models wearing will be fine throughout the day. I always say those comfortable walking shoes are really important. I find that also those fleecy jackets, John, are quite handy because they're easy to pack and they're quite light. So you can take those out when you're actually doing your touring. So if it gets a bit cooler, then you can pop those on. I just find sometimes people bring those thermals, but because the ship's beautifully organised as far as the temperature control, often you get inside the ship and it's too hot because you've got thermals on underneath everything else. So I just find layers are a really good way to go. Also little brollies, because you actually give brollies in every cabin, so but they're quite large ones. So if you want to take on those little tiny little portable ones from home, you can definitely put that into your bag. So when you're actually doing your touring or having your free time in town, they're a little bit easier to actually take around the towns with you in your bag, so they're really handy. We have 2 formal nights on the ship, and that's the only time where you actually need anything such as like a cocktail dress, and it is just cocktail attire. For the gentlemen, if they don't want to wear a tie, they don't have to, which is very popular. Often they just wear a shirt and a jacket and some trousers and they're completely fine. So it's not, you know, wearing a tuxedo or anything like that, which you'd get on some of those big ships out of America. That also gives you a breakdown there for every suite, exactly what's included. And I don't think I mentioned the entertainment system. So you've got your internet, you've also got your music, and you've also got your English-speaking channels and movies on that system. And you've also got individual climate control in every cabin. So very, very nice, very, very comfortable. And we got no suites over engine, because as soon as you have that sort of thing, you end up with a bit of vibration. And you don't want to have your, you know, your trip of a lifetime and have vibration in your cabin. It'd ruin the whole thing for sure. And we've been talking about food, John, so it's fantastic food on board, very nicely done. If you have any dietary requirements, certainly let let your travel agent know first, And then when you get onto the ship, the actual waiters will make sure you don't have any dietary requirements. If you do, they'll make sure that they watch out for you and make sure that maybe it's gluten-free or whatever. They'll certainly look after your needs in that regard as well. And that's a large choice of food, so you're never going to be hungry. They've got things like cooking demonstrations. They can bring some fantastic recipes back from Europe, wine tasting and tasting some wines that we don't have so much in Australia, which is a really nice thing to do as well. Of course, the morning and afternoon tea, just for a snack, so you get addicted to different scones and things like that, as well as all the flavours of Europe as you're cruising along, you know, 3 different river systems and 5 different countries. So really beautifully done. We're also really happy to be the only river cruising company inducted into one of the French culinary societies. So basically, because they recognise how fantastic quality our food is, they said we can actually be involved in that as well. So really, really proud of that award. And our choices. So I think it'd be really nice on the bottom left-hand corner there, you can see just an alfresco lunch. So that'd be a really nice way to sit on that sun deck and just have a look at the castles in the background as you're cruising down the Rhine. We also have the main dining room on the right-hand side as well. And then on the right at the bottom of the page, you've actually got a Lebanese restaurant. We'll show you some more shots of that, but that's fantastic. And one thing I like about our dining experiences is there's no surcharges. So no matter what restaurant you want to go into, it's still included in your cruise price. So you don't have to pay additional for anything. And if you have a special occasion, so a wedding, an anniversary, a birthday, certainly book in for that evening at a Lebanese restaurant. And it's very much a fine dining experience. There's 3 entrees, 1 main and 3 desserts. And all of the wine is tailored to the food that you're enjoying as well. And as you can see, the chefs are creating all your meals behind you. So it's a great experience. It's the back of the ship. And so if they open those curtains up, and maybe if you're in Budapest, you're cruising on with the Knights of Budapest and enjoying a beautiful meal. So that's really very much a special occasion. And there they are, waiting to welcome you on board and make sure you have a great evening there. Some more food. I hope you've had breakfast, lunch or dinner so far, John. But yeah, it's fantastic food, very good steaks in Europe as well. And they make sure that you have it exactly the way that you like it. One thing that's brand new for our whole
fleet. To my heart, Joe.
I know. It's very important to have. I think every well fed is a massive part of cruising for sure.
I love my food.
Yeah.
And no clients have come back yet and complained that the food was too much, or not so much too much. No, they come back and said there was plenty, but everybody has been highly complimentary of the food, and they like the no surcharge dining experiences. Like people who have done ocean cruises, you will know that and are used to having to pay anywhere up to even $100 to go in and have one of these select restaurants meals. So the good thing about on your ship is the fact that you get to go and then all you have to do is book.
Absolutely.
When should they book? What's your advice there?
I would say as soon as they actually get on board the ship, when they're actually checking in, just mention that the certain date, which is a special occasion or whichever one they prefer, because they can go at least twice during the cruise for the Lebanese restaurant. So whichever dates they prefer, just mention it at time of check-in, and we'll be able to pop a note into their booking that they'd like to go on that evening and book them in. So that's easily done. One other thing that we have brand new, which is for the whole fleet for next year, it's a River Bistro. And I just like it because you actually get extra flexibility with it. So it's another dining experience. It's open from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. at night. So if you're in town and you've had your tour and then you think, well, I want to have a bit of free time, but after maybe a couple of hours, lunch is due, you can say, look, I'll continue on and, you know, spend 4 hours maybe in town, wander back and go into the River Bistro and have what you want. If you want to have your steak sandwich or your, gourmet wrap or whatever, you can certainly have that. So to me, it gives you more flexibility as far as your touring, rather than having to be dictated when you have to go back to the ship to, not miss out on lunch or afternoon tea, all those sort of things. So it's, very excited to have that new feature on board our ships for next year. As I mentioned, yeah, we are all the wines of Europe, so it's nice to try some of the different reds and whites in Europe as well. So we certainly have those throughout the ship. And it's great to do the touring as well. As you can see Michelle there with one of our Amadante signs, and they are all colour-coded, as I mentioned before as well. the lady, you can't actually see, but she's actually got a voice box headset as well. So she can easily walk away from the group. The group size is usually around 30 people on average that do the local tours. And you can wander off from the tour, still get the commentary and then rejoin the group, and you haven't missed out on anything. So really, really handy, and sort of have a wander through at your own pace. There's another one of our guides.
Certainly, sorry, just saying it certainly adds to being able to listen to the guide, because at the end of the day, if you haven't got all that good a hearing, or you can't get in close because maybe there's crowds due to what the attraction is, you're in a situation where you actually miss out on the benefit of it. So these speaker things are brilliant.
They're fantastic. As you can see on this picture, on the second couple, you can actually see they've got the voice box headsets there as well. So they've been really, really popular, and I think people really enjoy the flexibility of those as well. Be able to wander a little bit further away from the guide and not always be so close if they need to. And that gives you an idea of all the different towns and cities we're actually offering the freedom of choice inclusion. So when you actually get to one of the brochures, it'll go through all the different choices you've got. But to me, it saves you so much money when you actually look through all these different places where you can have all these different experiences throughout. As I mentioned, Vienna, you know, Schomburg Palace and the Spanish Riding School. There's so much to choose from, and it's nice to have the transfers included for those options as well. So they're all included with APT, which is, yeah, really, really positive. We also do some land journeys as well, which I didn't mention before. So it's really handy if you want to see maybe Italy or Croatia before doing the Magnificent Europe cruise. Also, if you want to do Scandinavia, there's so many different options you can actually do, and do basically land first and then cruise second. So we never make you do the cruise first and then do a land journey. So just make sure you're relaxing at the end on your cruise. So there is other bits and pieces you can certainly do that combine with your actual river cruise.
Yeah, our clients are telling us that they prefer to do the land arrangement first, because inevitably there's hotels, traffic, hustle bustle, everything that goes with it, and then literally wind down on the river cruise and you sort of reflect back on your experiences that you've had, and you can sort photos and almost prepare yourself for when you get home. And that seems to be the preferred way. I'm not saying it's the only way, but it's certainly the way that clients are giving us the feedback on it. Seems to work out quite well. It makes a lot of sense.
I think so, and it's just nice to sort of do all the stuff you have to do on the running around first, which is, when there's no river system, sadly, and we can't do it that way, then obviously we'll try to do as many 2-night stays or 3-night stays as we can, but, we also got to make sure that it's, looking after people's budgets at the same time. So we do that touring first and then get onto your river cruise, unpack, and then you're done really pretty much for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, it's a nice way to go, and then sort of relax and then have all those wonderful meals as well. Everyone comes back and blames us as far as I think putting on weight, but also at least the good thing about Europe, I think, is the fact that there is quite a bit of walking, and so you do get quite a good opportunity for a good bit of exercise walking around those cobblestone streets and things around Europe. So it's not as bad as Canada, I can promise you now. Brand new for next year, we've actually got the Royal Tour, and that's literally, so you're actually invited into Princess Hyda's home, and so you can meet her aide, see what it's like with the working castle and what goes on there, and exactly how far is her appointments and how an actual working castle runs. And then in the evening you actually have a royal banquet as well. So a really great experience. We tried it on guests this year to make sure that it would be what our guests expect, and they all came back and said it was absolutely amazing, one of the highlights of their cruise. So you actually meet Princess Heidi. She's part of German and the Russian royal family, and if she's there as well, she'll come down and meet you as well. So fingers crossed she'll be there. But we're exclusive to APT, so it's something a little bit different to do, and it's in Germany, so it will be a great experience to do, and everyone guaranteed that experience on APT. Also, when you get to Hungary, we've also got the State Opera House in Budapest. We've got a private music recital just for our guests on board our ship. So that'll be great. You're standing there and some of the musicians appear on stage. You have a glass of champagne and a complete recital just for our guests. So that's another signature experience at APT Guarantee. different again. We've actually got the Oktoberfest. No matter what time of the year you go with APT, we'll recreate the Oktoberfest feeling. So those long wooden benches.
Oh, right.
I think you'd love it, John. The massive beers.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's a newbie to me.
Would be good.
I've always regretted that I never got to the Oktoberfest, actually. Everybody I know almost has been. So I suppose there'd be a few older people that are, or people that are my age and likes on this tour that would go, oh, I remember back in 1975.
Absolutely, and they've got the you know, the massive beers, and you got the Bavarian, you know, folk music and dancing and things like that. So that's always good fun. So we include that on all of the cruises as well. So another signature experience. And of course, if you're going to the south of France, and you certainly want to get more involved in the winemaking. And with this one, you're actually going to a family-run winery as well in the Beaujolais region. So,
John, back again. I just wanted to say thanks for sticking around. Now we're down to what we call the meat and potatoes. We've got all of them entree, everything served up for you. You've got, I hope, a really good idea now what's involved in the Magnificent Europe. Joey's done a great job explaining everything, and we're just about to cover off the deals. But I want to qualify two things probably when it comes to the deals. First of all, it's July 2013. And these deals are available at this point. They change and can be updated at any time, so please only use these as a guide and contact us to find out exactly what's happened. Secondly, we've actually got some special deals for people who are able to have a bit of flexibility in when you want to go in terms of the timing, because we actually get some special unadvertised deals. But I urge you to contact us after this video at the bottom with the phone number that we'll have there. So right now we're going to cover it over to Jo. She's going to cover off what's available now and give you guys some idea what's happening. Thank you.
we've actually got a fly free, and that one's actually paying your own air taxes with that French balcony or the panoramic balcony style ship. So that's very, very popular, is having one of those, and that's on the Aria class ships, and that's available to the 31st of October 2013. For 2014, to give you an idea, we're about 50% sold out for peak dates already, which is a bit frightening, but people are being very, very organised. And I think when you look at it, around the 75 to 78 cabins per sailing, there's not that much. So really, I guess it doesn't take much to sell them out. We've also got another deal if they actually want to have their taxes included. So fly free, both passengers including taxes. If you go the leading cabins, that will be for the Magnificent Europe. That's fly free throughout the year with your taxes included, so a big saving. Or if you want to go in March, October, November, December, in any category cabin, you'll get that deal as well. So really going those shoulder seasons, as far as not as many people in Europe, not as popular, certainly not peak of summer, but at the same time it's a different experience, and going when it's a bit quieter is always attractive. So maybe March, October, November, December, in any category cabin, you can get your fly free. We usually do our fly free with Singapore Airlines, and that's always been very, very popular. Great service airline, and really look after our guests really well. One question we get asked all the time as far as doing those flights is, can we go a little bit earlier and start a little bit longer if they want to? And that's not a drama at all. And what we can actually do, a lot of people go and see their relatives in the UK first, and so we actually fly them into London instead, and then they can do their visit their relatives. The travel agent usually gets their own books a flight from maybe London or from wherever in the UK to Amsterdam, and then they can rejoin their first day of the cruise. So then they continue on, and then we fly them out of Budapest. So it's really, really flexible. You can extend on the beginning at the end, and you can also fly out of different gateways that Singapore Airlines offer in Europe as well. So really, really flexible. So make the most out of your trip. It's a long way to go. Make sure you actually enjoy Europe as much as you can and see people or do extra things. And they've got some companion fly frees as well. So with like you guys basically got all of the brochures there, and I'm sure you've got details on your internet site, so they can actually log on, have a look at the deals, and obviously ring yourself or Nilla and get all the information as far as which tour they're looking at, what deal they're actually eligible for, and see how they can make that work for their plans. But hopefully that's given you pretty much a general rundown as far as everything. I think we've answered a lot of the questions as we've actually gone through, actually, John, to be honest, as far as what to pack, what's not included, the better side of the ship, and, you know, extending your stay. So we've actually gone through quite a few. Anyway, thanks so much, John, for jumping onto the webinar, and hopefully we've given you some information. And if your passengers or your clients would like further information, certainly yourself and Nilla would be the best people to come and speak to. I know you're off soon on a river cruise in Europe as well as Vietnam, so thanks so much.
Well, there we are. Thanks so much, Joe, and thank you for coming along and watching our presentation. Our goal today was to provide you with the best research information we could on river cruises so that you can be in a position where you feel comfortable about making a really good informed decision, even if it means not taking a river cruise. I guess what you need to do now is spend a bit of time digesting what you've taken in, and perhaps if you've got time, it's worth going back through our website, besteuropeanrivercruises.com.au, and looking at the 43 frequently asked questions. Another link that I'm going to share here with you now is our YouTube channel. We have 73 videos on there, more than 59,000 views at this date. So there's a lot of really good information there to still help you if you're still at that stage where you're researching and you're not quite sure yet what you want to do. Of course, if you're looking for some guided help and you want some expertise, then you know how to get hold of us, and we'll be happy to help you in any way we can. So once again, thanks for coming along. Thanks to you, Joe, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share in your river cruise planning experience.